What's going on, champs and champions? It's FireMonkey here, and you may notice something a little bit weird over on the side regarding the actual playlist we have selected, because in today's YouTube video, we are going to actually be playing Horde Rush early. Now, firstly, I want to get something out of the way right now. You might be like, FireMonkey, isn't playing unreleased LTMs a way to get banned? Yeah, technically, if you do some like weird shady stuff in order to do it, or you find like an XP glitch or something like that. However, what happened was they re-added Horde Rush to the files because they're planning to bring it back for Fortnite 2023, and if you had Horde Rush favorited before, it would show up in your favorites menu, and you were able just to kind of select it and play it as if you had always been able to play it. So while we have this opportunity before Epic Games actually fixes it, and since this is an issue that is just because they didn't blacklist it from the favorites tab, I thought might as well just kind of play it and show you guys all the changes, because there are some very interesting changes that happened to Horde Rush for the zero build version. Now, firstly, as we load in, I would like to mention to you guys that yes, they have actually made it so that Horde Rush is supported for the current version of Fortnite. So all the new locations, the jungle, the whole entire like vault areas, the heist areas, the ones from this season, all that stuff is currently supported with the Horde Rush updates. And there's only like a few AI issues and not so much actual spawn issues where stuff will be like in the ground under the map or anything like that. But of course, I thought it would make for a little bit of an interesting video while we had the opportunity to actually go back and play this mode early to show you guys how it's going to be changing. Now, something I want to mention is that augments are supported in this mode, and there's a few changes to make augments a lot more useful once it does eventually release for us to play as a normal game mode, instead of them accidentally releasing it in this early access state, so early ahead of time. Now, something else I would like to mention as we load in here is it appears that they're only going to be bringing back the zero build version of the mode. So if you preferred building enabled Horde Rush, it appears that that's not going to be returning anytime soon, and you're just kind of locked into this specific one. So just keep that in mind as everything goes on. You have to play this specific version if this is Horde Rush that you want to play or whatever else. And if you don't want to do the zero build version, then I guess you can just kind of like go around and play like a creative recreation or something like that, like UEFN or whatever. But for the most part, it's like, hey, this is what we're going to be getting, and of course it's very interesting. Now, the first thing I want to mention here is that your first reroll is free, but oh my god, both those augments are really cool, so I'm going to take them instantly here, and you get one augment per stage. So once you actually start the battle, you will have your first augment from, launching into the match. Once you go ahead and continue playing throughout the match and everything else, you'll be able to get your second augment by, having completed the game, and then of course, you get your third augment once you've actually made it to the second stage and you get to the prepare to fight section again, and then you get your final augment once that round is completed. Now, originally Epic Games planned to support a total of 5 augments. However, at least in this very early version that we are playing right here, that is not possible for them to do. And can we get more than just an SMG and a pistol, please? Also, this is an interesting thing to note. Vaults are already opened in this mode. So if you have like a vault area, which I didn't even know there was a vault door right here, to be completely honest with you, those are instantly opened. You're able to go inside of them, and you are able to get some, like the shotguns and everything else. Now, there will be small little things here and there that you won't be able to interact with, like as far as I'm aware, when it comes to the whole entire like heist bags and everything that are in the core game right now. Those are unavailable for you. However, the new weapons added to the game, such as the twin mag assault rifle that we have right here with the cool little scope, that is something you're able to use and kind of grind out with. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of weird little like finicky things where it's like somewhat there but also somewhat not there. But of course, in terms of everything else, it is kind of the old original version of Horde Rush that we all know and love. So I thought I'd make a quick little video playing it. Now, something I do want to mention is that you may notice that when we're actually playing it, we managed to get cube monster parts, which you could use to upgrade the sideways weapons. While the sideways weapons are in the game and they are technically working, they are not enabled as floor loot or drops or anything from any of the bosses or NPCs or enemies or anything else in Horde Rush right now. So the kind of like purpose of those cube parts are just pointless right now. So keep that in mind. We will be getting these and collecting them a lot, but you won't find any sideways weapons except for the boss enemy, the cube assassin or whatever they're called, because they actually use that as their only weapon. And of course, once we get to that stage, I'll show you how it's a little bit interesting and how everything ends up working there. Now, of course, as we're playing through this, I'm not really for sure how much damage we're going to be able to really pull off here. Of course, we have a lot of different weapons at our disposal, some old weapons, some new weapons, a mixture of all of them goodies in between. And you may notice that we have the normal effects of like mud, just having the ability to use augments such as soaring sprints in the zero build version, just already in its own right add a lot of fun to this and just make it a lot more enjoyable. But yeah, let's go ahead and pick up some upgrade crystals. We managed to get the Scope Burst SMG right here. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take that because I feel like it will do a lot of damage. Nope. Okay, it does not really do any damage at all. Let's just go ahead and hit it with the giant pizza pit sign. Come on. Come on. Destroy it. Destroy it. Destroy it. Come on. Don't let me get destroyed, please. There we go. You still have the rare chests and everything in the game. You open them up and we get porta-forts and the tactical pistol. So that is kind of like an idea of the type of, you know, items you're able to actually obtain from the chests and everything else. Of course, the loot's going to be a little bit finicky because this is an earlier version that Epic Games didn't originally intend to have released. But of course, because of the little oopsie on their part where it shows up in the favorites tab due to not being blacklisted, that is how we're actually able to go around here and use specific things a little bit early. We have junk rifts right here and another version of the two-shot shotgun. Now, something I want to mention about junk rifts is that they still will one-shot these little like temple, you know, the little like pillars and everything else. So if you want to easily get rid of them, you know, get some loot early game and you get a junk rift, easy peasy, just use it on that stuff. We have the explosive goo gun and a boombox here. All right, you know, I'll throw the boombox over here. But yeah, we have the explosive goo gun. I actually did not get the boombox originally before, so that's interesting to see being enabled in the game and everything for the Horde Rush mode, because I didn't even think it was going to be in here, right? I just thought it was kind of, you know, not even, it wasn't really even a thought of a weapon that I was like, what do I want to return to this mode, right? It was just something that kind of popped up one day and it was like, oh, hey, that's a little bit of an interesting oddity to just see going on. Let's go ahead, go over here, get some more eliminations. As you're seeing that we're not really getting too much in terms of like crazy loot or anything as of yet, but as we continue and as I accidentally deal damage to myself here, we will be able to continue, you know, grinding out everything. Oh, we get the kinetic blade? Okay, that is definitely something that I wasn't expecting, because when I played this earlier to test it off camera and everything else, I was not expecting the kinetic blade to be enabled. So that is very interesting. Oh, and it works like the scythe where it has siphon, I think. Either that or, you know, just all enemies kind of give that siphon effect. Let's go ahead and test here. Okay, no, it does not work like the scythe. It just kind of, you know, does the normal shield damaging effect. But that is something to keep in mind. You have shield bubbles, you have the kinetic blade, and of course it's the normal variant. It's not the Kato Thorn, like red version we heard before. And then of course we have the option to choose a new augment. As you can see here, it only costs 5 bars to actually reroll your augments, which I feel is a lot nicer for this mode, because it just makes it a lot more accessible. And we have the normal version of Aerialist, so we don't have, you know, the old version that was kind of like, oh, you know, when you go off of a vine or anything. You have the version where you can just use it whenever you want and use glider redeploy all the time. So as you can see, we have a very interesting selection of augments here that isn't too much like the normal game, but they still are some nice little augments to see, you know, being specifically for this mode. Now, we go over here and we look, you'll notice that a lot of the augments in the selector aren't even in the augment menu. That is because of how Horde Rush works. It has its own augment selection list that is very unique to specifically Horde Rush and won't be enabled in the normal game, just because, you know, there's some augments that while they're useful against normal people or whatever else, they're not too useful against, you know, like cube fiends or the bosses or whatever. We also have the Ripsaw launcher in this and the, you know, the chug cannon and everything else. So we have a decent selection of things here. Now, something I do want to mention is that recently the chrome weapons got updated, the Evo Chrome, like upgradable ones, and those are actually drops from the monsters in Horde Rush. It doesn't appear like they're coming back to the main game as of yet, but they did get re-added to the file so they could be used in the Horde Rush mode. Now, if we do manage to get one, I'll definitely pick it up so you guys can see it, but at least for right now, you know, it kind of makes sense that, you know, they have this nice little loot pool specifically for the mode, as well as, you know, having the normal like Halloween candies and everything else unvaulted for this as well whenever you defeat monsters and all that type of stuff. Now, in terms of the waves and everything still works in this current early version state. The Caretaker boss is even still there. We have all the bosses and all the functions basically already working in game for us to enjoy. The only difference is, hey, you know, it's like this is a very early version. Some things might be a little broken and everything else, because this isn't supposed to return right now. It's supposed to return for the actual Halloween event, which isn't for like a whole nother 2 months, right? So, you know, it's like we're a little early here, and we have the railgun in the loot pool. Okay, that's another weapon I didn't see from my previous playthrough, so that's nice to see that, you know, there's just a huge selection of weapons for you to actually enjoy, and it's just kind of like the biggest loot pool you've ever seen. And you can tell that they've been updating it, because if you really pay attention here, kinetic blade, railgun, you have the new weapons from this season, explosive goo gun, all the type of stuff, all in the exact same loot pool, including, you know, the chrome weapons and everything. Now imagine if the loot pool for Horde Rush was the current normal loot pool in the game that, you know, everyone was able to find from the vaults or whatever else, instead of just having, you know, unvaulted mythics, just have a ton of stuff that was going to be unvaulted. Now something I'm going to note as well here is this is the second time I've played Horde Rush Zero build on this update and everything, and it looks like I'm getting the exact same storm path. Now that could just be a little bit of a weird oddity going on with me, or RNG is just not in my favor today, but that might also just be, you know, a early version woohoo, whatever you want to call it, where it's just like this isn't supposed to happen this way, but because of it being an early version build, we're having that issue where it's like, oh, the same path every single time. Maybe it's the only one that they fully tested out and know works without any flaws. But of course, that went from that location to this one in my last playthrough as well when I did it on my own. Now, something I do want to mention here is that when it comes to the normal loot and everything else, you know, having these little areas, you may notice that we even get some older items like chug splashes dropping on the ground, but they also have supported the slap splashes as well. Now, I can't open this right here because those just aren't supported in Horde Rush, but in terms of the normal, you know, splashes, you have both versions, slap and slurp, enabled at the exact same time, which makes me wonder, if they can be both enabled at the same time in Horde Rush, why can't they be enabled at the same time in the normal game as well? Of course, that is just my little like speculation of what is Epic Games doing behind the scenes, but it is just something I thought was a little interesting to mention. Now, something else I should mention to you guys is upgrade benches are enabled in this mode. However, a lot of the weapons you're actually able to obtain, such as grenade launchers and all that type of stuff, are not available to be upgraded through upgrade benches just because it's simply not supported. Because I guess, you know, Epic Games either is going to add support later down the line, or just didn't think we would be sitting here this early playing this specific mode. But of course, you know, you can get all your like challenges and stuff completed by playing it, and you can have some fun. This does give you completion rates for the squad play challenge, so if you want to get like 100 squad wins or whatever, you could just get, you know, a group of people together and grind out this for those different, you know, career tab feats or whatever without having to worry about playing against an actual enemy. You just kind of got to complete the game normally, and, you know, easy peasy lemon squeezy. As you can see right here though, we have the cube fiend boss or cube assassin, whatever they are called, and they actually have one of the sideways weapons. Despite this, however, they don't actually drop the sideways weapon, as you'll see here once we manage to do enough damage to the boss. Now, I am going to go ahead and shoot the goo gun over there a little bit because we are getting in a little bit of a chaotic mess here, but I'm hoping we get some very good RNG. Let's see what weapon we got. We got Zig and Choppy's ray gun once again. That is what I had last time as well. However, I have seen a friend who's played the mode with me, or I guess not played with me, but, you know, played in their own session, getting different weapons such as Midas's drum gun, you know, the Mark 7 assault rifle being the Foundations version and all that type of stuff. So just keep that in mind. However, Zig and Choppy's ray gun is a super powerful item for this mode because of the fact it has infinite ammo. And, you know, when you're kind of in a Horde Rush mode, you know, have a lot of enemies right there, you know, coming at you nonstop, ammo can sometimes be a little bit of a problem. So knowing we have infinite ammo is a very nice thing to see, and I am happy to have that weapon. Thank you very much. And of course, the ray gun is just a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and go over here. I want to see, can I slice through this with one shot? No. Okay, so it is not going to one shot the actual cube little monuments, you know, the little spawners or whatever else. It doesn't really do too much damage to them at all, to be completely honest here, but it is still something, you know, you're able to kind of run around and easily get the multiplayer bonuses and stuff for without having to worry about, you know, rushing over to there, you know, non-stopping, like, if I don't run right now in the middle of combat, I'm never going to make it over there. It's just something that, you know, is like available to you. Now, I'm wondering if we managed to actually eliminate the big boss right here. I guess not like a... I guess it wasn't really a boss, but, you know, it's kind of like a mini... heavy enemy, whatever you want to call it. But I'm wondering how you actually managed to get the other mythic weapons. Like, is it from the same boss that we just fought? Or is it a situation where it's like, yeah, you can get it from the boss, but, you know, it's... more likely you could just get it from floor loot or something like that. And also another thing I'm noticing here is the goo gun's no longer bugged in this mode. So for anyone who doesn't know, last time this mode was available, the goo gun would deal damage and destroy all these little like pillars and stuff, you know, the spawners, with absolute ease, even if you weren't shooting it, right? Just being in the general direction, it would just kind of implode on itself and just instantly get crushed. So it appears like they've sadly fixed that. you know, womp womp, we can't actually take advantage of that anymore, but it is still, you know, a fun mode even with those little sad oddities going on there. Now, of course, as you use junk rifts, and hey, we actually managed to get a weapon I haven't used yet in this, so here we go with the pumpkin launcher. We don't really have too much when it comes to RPG ammo, so we have to be very cautious with how we use this, but it's just nice to know that, you know, we still do have the pumpkin launcher enabled in this mode, and we can use it. And I think, you know, being able to play this mode a little bit early is just fun in its own right, because I get to sit here, right, and I get to use the new skins like Piper Pace, and use weapons that aren't actually enabled in the loot pool normally. Now, as you can see right here, we also have a grenade launcher, and we have the Rift to Go, both two weapons that aren't in the actual normal loot pool, so this is just an interesting sight to behold, right? Zig and Choppy's ray gun, the two-shot shotgun, explosive goo gun, the kinetic blade, the pumpkin launcher, and all that type of stuff. And you know what? I feel like I should just pick these up, right? I feel like I should pick this up and then just take a screenshot, be like cursed images or whatever. Now, I'm not going to end up posting it on Twitter or anything because I have kind of been taking like a little bit of a break from like my personal Twitter or whatnot. I've still been doing the Fortnite news and everything else, but like Twitter's just sometimes too chaotic, so you know, I've been taking a mini break there. But of course, it's just a fun little image to have on my computer. Now, let's see here. What other augments can we actually obtain? Is there anything really that good that we want here? I love that I can just feel like I can reroll as many times as I ever desire because of how we have, you know, the specific, like, cheap augment selector or whatever else you want to call it. And it would be nice if, you know, for like bargain bin weeks in the future, Epic Games could use that cheap augment system to even discount the price of augments in the very like final week of the game, right? It's a very small change that I feel a lot of people would genuinely enjoy. But of course, you know, that's just kind of me rambling on, giving you guys some content as we go to the final phase of the Horde Rush boss fight. And I hope that this video does kind of get you hyped up for Fortnitemares 2023 because, you know, we have a lot of old stuff returning, and of course we have Horde Rush returning. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to be grinding it a lot, and as long as it stays available in this mode past this video being released, I plan to, you know, keep on playing it. Can I hide in this and not take damage? Okay, so they kind of just swarm around here, so that's an interesting thing to know, right? I don't know if the hiding spots are really something you were available to use last Horde Rush time or whatever, but it's nice to know that you can technically just sit in them and they'll just kind of be like, I don't know what's going on. He was like there for a moment and then he just kind of like disappeared. Just like, what do you want me to do? Make him unvanish from the game? I can't do that. I can't do that, failure. I'm sorry. That's just not in my possibilities. He vanished, he gone. That's all that's going to be happening here, and that's all you need to know. Now, I think that this is the same path as last time as well for the third round. However, I could be wrong because it doesn't feel too familiar to me from when I last played, right? But we will have to see as we get towards the very end, and of course, as we know, this is the actual Caretaker boss fight, so that is going to be a little bit of fun. Now, we are going to be going off to the side of Frenzy Fields instead of directly in Frenzy Fields, so actually, yeah, that is the exact same spawn as the last game I played. Alright, got to keep that in mind, exact same spawn. Now, I wonder if spawns would be different depending on how many players were in the match or something, but as you guys can see, I have 110 of those cube monster parts, and I can't actually use them to upgrade anything. That is, once again, just because sideways you know, like weapons and everything else aren't enabled in the mode, or at least I've been completely unable to find them. Like, of course, you know, I would think that if they were enabled, by defeating the Cube Assassin, you would have at least gotten one sideways weapon, you know, maybe the minigun or whatever else, but of course, you know, I'm not going to complain too much, because at the end of the day, you know, we didn't get it, and we're going to be going to the boss fight. Now, something I will mention about the boss fight is, you got the ray gun, becomes pretty easy. If you can manage to get a porta-fort, you know, stack two of those on top of each other, you're in for a very good time. So let's go ahead and try looting up a little bit here to see if we can manage to get any weapons that will help us survive against the final boss in this video. But I hope you enjoy this kind of, you know, longer form video where, you know, I'm a little bit more awake and everything. Of course, this was recorded the same day as the new season because I wanted to pre-record it just in case, you know, by the time the video goes up, Horde Rush is disabled and, you know, you're not unable to play it anymore or whatnot. But of course, you can also do challenges and everything else like destroy objects in this mode, which also means if you go ahead and we go to our quest menu, right, and we pin the object challenge to actually destroy stuff, if we go here, pin it, 62 of 200, right, and we go ahead and just start pasting that in there, it does count for the challenge. So as you see, we're now at 74, so instead of having to use this to actually fight the monsters, you can technically use the explosive goo gun to cheese one of the challenges currently in the game and make it a lot easier on yourself. Now, regarding if you actually want to cheese it, completely up to you. You could use the goo gun on the actual enemy, but of course me, I like some nice cheese in the morning, some nice melted cheese for our gameplay. Now, of course, as you can see, there is the main boss himself, And something that is very interesting to me, and it just feels kind of off when you're actually fighting him, is the fact that you can just soaring sprints away now, right? He goes to attack you or whatever, he goes slam on the ground, soaring sprints, right? You don't got to worry about too much at all. Just soaring sprint your way out of there and everything will be a-okay. Now let's go ahead and use the pumpkin launcher. How much damage is that going to do? Only 100. All right, I see what type of game you're playing here. You know what, I'll go ahead and I will one-up you. I will go ahead and use Zig and Choppy's ray gun, and as you can see, imagine a full squad of 4 people using the ray gun. It's gonna be doing some damage. Now you do the little hit on the ground, and I can of course. Oh no, wait, I'm going very far back. Hold on. Okay, there. That got a little scary. I'm not gonna lie, because that was a decent distance away from where I actually thought I was gonna be going. Now we are going to kind of soaring sprints our way up here and try getting some easy damage done down there, you know, get some more little props and everything else unlocked for us. Maybe we can get like a porta-fort or something else, but we have ran out of info regarding, you know, like the goo gun we had. So let me go ahead and get the rail gun. How much does the rail gun do to you? Does it do a lot? Only 90 damage? Ooh, okay, hold on. We are in a very interesting spot. We are in a very scary situation. Okay, how about a direct shot? 90 again? You know what? I'm gonna have to use Zig and Choppy's ray gun. Zig and Choppy's ray gun is the only way right now. Get me away from there. Yeah, we don't want to get hit by that. I just think that, you know, soaring sprints on its own right makes this mode a lot easier, and it can definitely be seen as easy mode. But something else I've noticed is gas cans. It's got a weird glow on it. I don't know why. When you pick it up, the glow goes away, but there's just a weird glow in the gas can that I don't quite understand as of yet. Maybe it's just a little bit of a bug. I feel like it was like that last time Horde Rush was here, but I genuinely have no clue. And, you know, I could be dumb, I could be wrong. We really just kind of got to wait and see if that really has any meaning at all, because we are in, of course, as I mentioned, an early version of the Horde Rush mode. Now, we are going to go ahead here and eliminate some more enemies because it's getting a little scary. It's getting a little tight. It's getting a little tight, you know, just a little close to everything, and I'm not for sure how I feel about all of it. Now, my main weapon, of course, is going to continue being this ray gun because it does a lot of damage, but I would appreciate it if we could get some type of hill somewhere. Like, I'm looking around, I'm not really seeing too many hills, right? Or maybe I'm just blind. Am I blind? No, there's just no hills here, okay. I won it the previous match I played, so I can't end on a loss today, right? I can't end today's video with a loss. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want you to do that to me. No, please, stay away. Stay away, please. I would appreciate it if you did not try to do that attack to me, sir, because that is not something I really appreciated. You know what? Soaring sprint my way into the air. Soaring sprint my way into the air. We gotta give ourselves a moment to kind of debrief for a second here, right? So let me just go all the way up here and you know, get some easy damage as we fly downwards without taking any hits or anything. Oh, wait a minute, I don't know how I feel about all this. Okay, we ended up losing to the caretaker. I won in my previous match, I'll have it be known, but in this one we lost to the caretaker, and as you can see, there are people playing this, because if you look over here, you can see that even though we only got 54,000 as a score this time, my high score is 136,000, and someone else on my friends list named Limes got 140,000. So this is a mode you are able to play, and it is something that's very fun, but as you guys can see, there is a lot of changes coming to Horde Rush once it returns very soon, and overall, I'm excited for all the changes, because Horde Rush is one of my absolute favorite modes in the game, and if I could only bring back like 3 modes, I would bring back Horde Rush, I would bring back Air Royale, and then Gref's version of Floor's Lava. You know, Floor's Lava Disarmed, where you have the Floor's Lava without weapons and everything. That would be my main 3 focuses on LTMs I would love to see come into the game. So as long as Horde Rush is a Fortnite's permanent mode that always returns time and time again, I'm going to be a happy little camper. But with that said, hope you champs and champions enjoyed today's YouTube video. Hope you enjoyed seeing me play a mode that will be returning in a more, you know, polished manner very soon. And of course, if you have Horde Rush favorited, go hop in and play it before Epic Games vaults it, assuming that it's not already vaulted by the time this video goes up. I've kind of made sure to not tweet saying that the mode was enabled on my Twitter account because I want to play it myself, but of course a lot of people on Twitter, when I made a tweet talking about the changes to Horde Rush, were like, "Hey FireMonkey, did you know you could play the mode right now?" And I'm like, yeah, that's how I found out about the changes to the mode. Thank you very much. But of course, I will catch you champs and champettes later with another video. Peace out.